Right.
got him in it. You know, he been working, doing his thing.
You like
That's
being
good
the
because
bad guy?
there's no permanent friends and enemies when it comes to business, right?
Yeah,
And that's
no,
Brother
it's
Love.
in
Eddie Hearn recently confirmed that Shocker Stevenson will face Joe Cardina before taking on William Zepeda. Hearn shared that he has already spoken to Cardina about fighting Stevenson, and while Cardina knows it's a huge challenge, he is still up for it. Moving up a weight class to take on Stevenson, widely regarded as one of the best fighters in the lightweight division, represents a serious hurdle for Cardina. Known for his willingness to take on tough opponents, Cardina's potential victory over Stevenson could open the door to more high-profile bouts against the division's top contenders. Joe Cardina has expressed excitement about potentially facing Shocker Stevenson, showing his competitive spirit and ambition. He recalled how the opportunity to fight Stevenson seemed possible before, citing Stevenson's previous commitments and weight changes. I was happy to jump in with him. He had his mandatory, and then he couldn't make the weight. He moved up, but I was ready for a catchweight fight at 133 pounds. It makes no difference to me, Cardina explained. Despite holding respect for Stevenson, Cardina is eager to test himself against top-tier opponents. I'd love to fight him. He's going to go down as an all-time great. And if you want to be great yourself, you have to mix with these types of fighters, Cardina said. His comments highlight not only his hunger for competition, but also the acknowledgement that, to be the best, you have to face the best. Shocker Stevenson, the reigning WBC lightweight champion, and Joe Cardina, the former IBF champion at 130 pounds, are potentially setting up for a showdown. Cardina, with a record of 17 wins, 1 loss, and 9 knockouts, plans to move up to the 135-pound division for this fight. Though the bout has not been finalized, fans are excited by the prospect. Cardina recently shared how he has been eyeing this fight for over 2 years. Despite the weight difference, he's ready to move up to 135 pounds to take on Stevenson. If that fight's there, it's there. I've said before that I want that fight. I'm ready to come up to lightweight. There's no need for a catchweight. Stevenson recently defended his WBC title successfully against Artem Harutyunian after defeating Edwin de los Santos for the vacant title last November. A potential bout between Cardina and Stevenson would be a major test for Stevenson, offering him a chance to expand his international presence by taking on a formidable challenger. Meanwhile, with the WBC mandating a fight between Stevenson and William Zepeda, there's buzz that this bout may accompany a Terence Crawford versus Virgil Ortiz Jr. fight in Saudi Arabia next February. This timeline allows Stevenson the opportunity to take an interim fight before his mandated bout with Zepeda, potentially against Cardina. Hearn acknowledged that discussions for a Stevenson versus Cardina bout are still in the early stages, but confirmed that both fighters have shown interest. Stevenson recently tweeted that the Zepeda fight has been pushed back to February, leaving him with a window to take on Cardina in the meantime. Hearn also discussed Cardina's move up in weight, praising his boldness for taking on such a challenge. When moving up a weight division, you'd probably want an easier fight than Shocker Stevenson, but Joe wants to be involved in the biggest fights. If he feels the opportunity is right, I'm sure he would take it, Hearn said. While Hearn didn't confirm any plans to sign Stevenson to Matchroom Boxing, given that Stevenson is currently a free agent, such a move seems possible considering the circumstances. As of now, Stevenson is still considering his options, and Cardina is looking to rebound from the first setback of his career. Cardina's recent loss to Anthony Kakis, where he lost his IBF super featherweight title, was a blow, but moving to the 135-pound division represents a fresh start. However, stepping into the ring against Stevenson would be a major challenge for Cardina. On the other hand, Stevenson has expressed that his fight with Zepeda is being delayed due to the major Saudi card featuring Crawford and Ortiz. He is now looking at Cardina as a way to stay sharp before February. Facing Cardina would allow Stevenson to keep up his momentum and stay visible in the lightweight division. On Twitter, Stevenson hinted that Cardina wasn't at his best fighting at 130 pounds due to weight issues. He's actually a really good fighter, but he was sucking himself down to make a weight he shouldn't have been making, Stevenson tweeted. I wouldn't take dude lightly, but Zepeda doesn't want to fight just yet, so whoever it is, they're going to get this work. Cardina, for his part, has nothing but admiration for Stevenson, calling him a future Hall of Famer. It would be an honor to share the ring with him. He's got the potential to be a future pound-for-pound great. I back myself against anyone, and if anyone can beat him, it's me, Cardina said confidently. Despite Stevenson's undeniable talent, his recent fight against Hart Union didn't deliver the excitement fans were hoping for. The fight, though technically impressive, lacked the dramatic flair that many fans crave. This has led to some criticism from figures like Oscar de la Hoya, who stated that Stevenson's marketability as a star needs improvement. You're a great fighter, Shocker, but you're not selling seats, and that's a problem, de la Hoya said. Eddie Hearn also commented on Stevenson's reputation as a boring fighter, suggesting that once a fighter gets labeled as such, it's difficult to shake off. When people are spinning a narrative about someone being boring, they're going to jump on every performance. It's tough to win over fans after that, Hearn said. Hearn expressed sympathy for Stevenson, noting that he is managing his career largely on his own without strong promotional backing. It's just him putting out fires and fighting wars on Twitter, which he should move away from. It's draining and unproductive, Hearn added. Nevertheless, Hearn remains convinced of Stevenson's skill. As a fighter, Shocker is already a top 5 pound-for-pound fighter in the world. He's outstanding, and I think he'll look even better against fighters who come to fight, Hearn said. Hearn is hopeful that a fight with Zepeda will materialize. I think the Zepeda fight is great for him. There's a big crowd in Newark, and it was the biggest rating on ESPN this year, he said. Meanwhile, Teddy Atlas weighed in on the Zepeda versus Stevenson fight, offering Zepeda advice on how to approach Stevenson. Just pressure and bodywork won't get it done against a guy like Shocker. He's going to need to be more sophisticated, Atlas said. Atlas acknowledged Zepeda's entertaining style, but emphasized that Stevenson's technical skills would require a smarter game plan from Zepeda. We love Zepeda's attitude, but against Shocker, he's going to need to be smarter, Atlas concluded. Holly Malignaggi echoed similar sentiments, pointing out that both fighters need each other. Zepeda's been climbing the ranks, and Shocker's been struggling to find elite opponents. This fight makes sense for both, Malignaggi said. With negotiations ongoing, both Cardina and Zepeda are viable options for Stevenson's next fight. Whether it's Cardina or Zepeda, one thing is clear. Stevenson is ready for whoever steps in the ring with him. Who do you think is the better opponent for Shocker Stevenson? Whether it's Joe Cardina or William Zepeda, fans can expect an exciting match. Let us know your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to share this video with your fellow boxing fans.